it's turned on?
It is.
Excellent. Absolute joy of working with Northern Lights Chamber Choir this year after singing with them for the past 2 years under the direction of the fabulous Steve Guidoni. Now, if you've seen us sing before, you'll recognize Steve as the only conductor the choir's had since its inception since 2009, and he decided that this was the time to take a step back and enjoy his garden a bit more. So him and his partner Jackie, who's sung with us for many years, we're sad to see them go and to say goodbye, but excited to turn over a new leaf in our choir's history and decide what sort of direction we want to go in and what sort of identity we want to make sure that we are holding here as the Shoe Swaps Chamber Choir. So it's been really a tremendous year. Again, a lot of change, but welcoming 6 new members to the choir, and we've really, again, had a wonderful time getting to know each other and sing together. The first piece that you heard was Spring Carol by Michael John Trotta, and I thought it was a nice way to start it off, despite the snow on the ground here and the pouring rain still happening. It was supposed to be ushering in a new season, right? And so here it is as a metaphor for what's happening with our choir right now. The theme for tonight's concert is something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. And I thought, well, that's a nice, appropriate theme because it's usually set around the time of a wedding. It's a new chapter in someone's life, a big new adventure, and that's sort of, again, what we're going through here with our choir right now. So every piece in the program fits in with this theme in some way. Sometimes it's very obvious. Sometimes it's not so obvious. So I'll give you the hint with the first one. It's about spring and the coming of a new season. Well, now you can figure out where that kind of fits in with the program. So points for anyone who's able to match all the parts to the 4 categories. Some of them fit in both. Our next piece will also feature Lindsay Lazzarato on soprano. You can give her a round of applause. She had a short descant solo at the end of this first piece, and she will be joined by Hannah Carrier as well. The second piece in which they feature is called Ave Generosa, and now it's a text that is over a millennium old, really, or close to a millennium old. It's by Hildegard von Bingen, Saint Hildegard von Bingen, recently canonized about 10 years ago or so. She is widely recognized as one of the world's first, published, essentially, female composers, and she lived in an abbey and was known for not just her compositions, both in poetry and in musical melodies, but also about fantastical visions that she would have. That she would often use as the inspiration for the art that she would write. And so this next piece here uses one of her texts, but it is set to an entirely new melody by composer Ola Gjeilo, who does some amazing stuff. It's supposed to kind of encapsulate the sort of sound which we might hear back in St. Hildegard's days, sort of plain chant type of inspiration, but it adds some very much more modern harmonies. So here we are with Ave Generosa.
words to this piece because we will be singing it in the Indigenous language, the Haida language. When I am alone and lonesome, I think of you, and it makes me so sad, I want to cry. Now this particular piece was notated by Phil Thomas, and I'll just give a nod out to Phil Thomas's relatives who are sleeping up in the cemetery up here, just on the bank. Phil Thomas was an elementary school teacher, and he spent more than 20 years traveling the province, going to mining camps, forestry camps, hotels, anywhere where people gathered to make music. And one of the places he went was to Skidegate, and he sat down with the Mrs. Colson in about 1974, and she sang this song for Phil. He went home, and he put those musical notes on a piece of paper so that we could actually sing them for you. So that's the first piece we'll sing. The second piece is Rise Up My Love by Healey Willan, and it's a classic Healey Willan piece. He was a pipe-smoking, bow-tie wearing, high Anglican choral composer from England, and I found a quote. He said, "I'm English by birth, Canadian by adoption." He was at St. Mary Magdalene in Toronto. "Irish by extraction, and Scotch by absorption." Anyway, this piece is from the Song of Songs, and again, it's about come away, my love. Listen to the words. It's about spring. It's about the time that the snows have passed, the winter is gone, and the birds are singing. And rise up, my love, and come away.
Oh,
before we start this next one with Rise Up My Love by Healey, Willan, this is a piece which I had sung before at Christ Church Cathedral in Victoria as a tenor. And I picked it for this one, not just for the theme, but because I'm absolutely in love with the tenor line in this piece. And I thought it apropos to dedicate this performance of Rise Up My Love, my fair one, with its wonderful tenor line, to a former tenor who sang with us for many years as well, who is sitting in the audience right now. Daryl Otten, thank you so much for being with us.
We will be singing tonight is Love by Matthew Emery. I had the very big privilege of becoming Matthew's friend when we were at university together at UBC. He was a fantastic musician and an even better composer. Now, I couldn't introduce a piece by Matthew Emery without telling one little personal story. I will never forget the day that Matthew met his absolute idol, American choral composer Morton Lawrenson. We were attending the NCCO choral conference in Denver, Colorado, and all day the usually calm, cool, collected Matthew was acting like a nervous, palm-sweaty fangirl, to say the least, as he anticipated the introduction of this very important human. Now, I am so proud that Matthew is now influencing so many young musicians just the way that Morton Lawrenson did for him. Matthew's music is just as honest, gentle, complex, and interesting as he is. These qualities are perfectly exemplified in this piece. We hope you enjoy love as much as we do.
Be still. years ago in Victoria, BC, on Coastal Sound Youth Choir's Indie Tour tour. And in the audience, unbeknownst to me, as we only met this year, was a dashing young aspiring conductor who made note of this piece as one that he might like to program for a future choir of his own someday. So today, 8 years later, and I auditioned with this song, pretty much being like, I could sing this. And he was like, I know this one. Today we are singing, I am thrilled to sing it again under Zachary Power's capable direction. So please enjoy Afternoon on a Hill. time of the American Civil War. But it was actually written by two German composers in the 1600s based on the Psalms, and likely came over to North America with immigrants in the 18th century. Its themes of displacement, desperation, death, and hope for salvation in the proverbial bright land over the River Jordan spoke to soldiers, black slaves, and victims of war. One young dying soldier actually scratched the lyrics into the walls of his prison cell wall, and for a while the song was known as the Libby Prison Hymn. The song continues to resonate with its contemporary story of homelessness and migration. It's been recorded by artists as diverse as Paul Robeson, Burl Ives, Emmylou Harris, Johnny Cash, Natalie Merchant, Alison Krauss, Ed Sheeran, Joss Slovic for the film 1917, amongst many, many others. The version we'll be singing today was arranged by Alexander Lloyd Blake for the vocal group Tonality, and it blends themes of folk, spiritual, and jazz. Our soloist is Hannah Carrier. I hope you enjoy Poor Wayfaring Stranger. There will be a 15-minute intermission following this, so you can stretch your legs.
Stranger, a
BC, arranged by Diane Loomer, and then subsequently rearranged by Larry Nickel, two pillars of Canada's choral scene. We'll be following that with another similar piece with Larry Nickel involvement called I Dreamed of Rain, arranged originally by Jan Garrett. These two pieces are pieces where if you came to our concert last week at the Nexus in Salmon Arm, that you would have seen us sing with the newly formed Shoe Swap Youth Choir. Did a really beautiful job. These are two pieces I find that really they make people inclined to sing together. They are very communal songs, and I know that the youth choir really benefited from singing with Northern Lights, and Northern Lights really enjoyed hearing the young voices and just being inspired by the young musicians we have in our community. They're not with us tonight. We thought for a smaller venue, it might not be wise to pack so many people on the stage here. But if you'd like to get a chance to see the Shoe Swap Youth Choir perform, that will be in Salmon Arm on Friday, May 10th, coming up. I guess about 10 weeks or so. Friday, May 10th in the evening at the Nexus. So great chance to hear a concert by our young singers in Salmon Arm. With these two songs, they really bring a message of peace, I find, as well. So they're two songs that we sang when we came out to Blind Bay back in December for a bit of a carol sing with some community members. Just a quick show of hands. Was anyone at that carol sing? Hey, we had some returnees. Excellent. Nice to see you again. And so we sang these two as a preview to this concert, and then we continued on with some Christmas carols. And I gave this same message to the folks in Blind Bay at the community hall. But when I was looking at pieces to program, I guess in the theme for tonight's concert, these ones don't match as much. I guess like the sea is blue, rain is water, just like the sea. So it's a bit of a stretch. But I wanted to make sure these were here. One, for collaboration, but two, with that message of peace and of hope. Knowing what a lot of our community members here went through last summer with the fires here in Sorrento and over where I teach up in the North Shoe Swap, I know that they affected many families to varying degrees, directly and indirectly. And so with this next piece, I Dreamed of Rain, not only is this maybe something that I thought encapsulated the hope and some of the pain that was happening for a lot of people in our community here last summer, but also moving forward beyond this, when we're singing about rain, we're not just singing about literal rain coming down from the sky. Rain for people can be friendship, it can be family members, it can be support, it can be community. And so, while this is several months removed from last summer, we'd like to offer this next song as a gift to all of you and anyone you know that was affected by the fires last summer, as our hope and our prayer that you have found whatever rain you have needed over the last few months. You could answer it. You could hold on a second. You can listen. It's getting louder. Or it could be an ice cream truck outside. Surprise! Nothing's good for the voice like dairy. Okay, let's begin.
Spread over We actually moved the piano to the middle of the stage. So that was pretty cool. But we can't really announce this piece without mentioning Jim Johnston on the piano. Most piano accompaniments for choir are they are truly an accompaniment. So the choral music, the choral notes, the notes that all the singers are singing are embedded into what the piano is doing. It becomes this beautiful little relationship of support from the piano. And that is not true in this piece. This piece, the piano is a whole other thing, all kind of by itself, that exists to be beautiful and complicated, and you'll hear that, but it also exists to also just keep the choir from going out of tune. There's a lot of changes in the music, a lot of tonality shifts that happen, and the piano helps us accomplish that with as much grace as possible in a piece like this one. The time signature in this piece changes constantly as well, so it is quite a workout for our conductor and for the singers, because we have to basically never look away from the conductor, because if we do, then we'll lose track of what's going on. I'm a percussionist, which is a fancy word for drummer, and my favorite thing about this piece is we have a bar in 5/8, which for those of you who are musically inclined means we have 5 eighth notes in one bar. Traditionally, there would be 8 eighth notes in a bar, because most music is in 4/4 time. This one has a bar in 5/8, which makes my little nerd heart very, very happy. So please enjoy In the Middle by Dale Trumbore.
One other small thing I'd like to add to that, which I didn't add at the Nexus, because I'm only adding it after hearing back from some people that were at our Salmon Arm concert. And I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll say it right like this. We heard feedback from people that said this was their favorite piece of the entire concert. Pressure's on. But also some people that said this might be my least favorite piece of choral music I've ever heard. And I was happy to hear both of these things, because that's one of the reasons why this is programmed in here. It's a totally different way of music making. This is, forget what you think you know about what you're expecting to hear about chords and verses and all that sort of stuff, and anticipate storytelling. This piece is about storytelling, and a story that we all share about the time that we have here on earth, and how sometimes it seems terrifyingly fast, and sometimes it seems like time isn't passing at all, and what happens within the spaces between those memories, and when we go back to reflect on them, what it means to us to just be living, breathing human beings. So prepare yourselves for a story.
In the middle of a life that's as complicated as everyone else's, struggling for balance, big black dog pushes his great head between his tail a metronome, 3/4 We'll never get there. Time is always ahead of us, running down the beach, urging us on. Faster, but sometimes we take off our watches. Sometimes we lie in the hammock, caught between the mesh of rope and the net of stars. Suspended, tangled up in love. Running out of time, running out of running out of time, 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 running, 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 running.
Everyone enjoyed that. Our next piece is Old Grandma. You can figure out how that fits into the theme of the concert. Unfortunately, we don't know the composer of this song, but it was arranged by Trent Worthington. He's very big in the Edmonton music scene. Now, it doesn't have the coolest backstory, but I do have a funny story for you. In the music community, there's a little ongoing joke because altos, as lovely as they are, as much as they contribute to choral pieces, you know, the really hearty part of the female voice, we don't usually get a lot of solos or like fancy, intricate solo bits as a group. And this piece does a beautiful job of showcasing each and every single part of the choir. So I encourage you to listen to the words. It is quite funny, but also just embrace each section for what they are and what they're doing.
Old Grandma, when the West was new, she wore hoop skirts and bustles too. When infants came and times got bad, she stuck right on to old Granddad. right on to old granddad.
Boy, Grandma had quite a life. Our next song is Tango to Evora, Lorena McKennett's 1991 song, arranged by John Washburn. So, raise your hand if Lorena McKennett was one of your soundtracks of the 90s. Oh yeah, that would be me and you and you and you. Born in 1957, Ms. McKennett grew up in rural Manitoba, and in the 70s was, as she says, smitten by Celtic music. She went on to great success composing, recording, and performing what we once called world music, with Celtic and Middle Eastern influences. Known for innovative, even eclectic compositions, she performs with clear soprano vocals and plays the harp and the accordion. Not to mention the mane of flowing red curls. Imagine my delight at discovering that Tango to Evora, which by the way is a historical city in Portugal, had been arranged for choir by no less than John Washburn, the conductor of the esteemed Vancouver Chamber Choir. We bring you something old, the tango, something borrowed, of course, Lorena's 1991 song, and something new, this choral setting. Please enjoy our presentation of Tango to Evora, featuring Di Tyson as our soloist, and Jim Johnston on a distant, mysterious instrument.
have come to the final piece in our program here. Before we get to it, I think Di Tyson deserves one more round of applause. We've gone on right ahead and just scheduled our encore straight into the program. So let's pretend that we've all walked off the stage and you brought the house down. We go, okay, we got one more. We'll come back. Here it is. It saves time. Before we get into it, there are many ways that you can support the choir and stay in touch with us, other than just saying hello at the end of the concert, which of course we'd love to say hi and hear about your enjoyment of music here in Sorrento. We're so grateful that you've invited us here into this space, and we love singing here. We're glad to be back after several years hiatus, so it is nice to be back in this hall. You can touch base with us on our website, northernlightschamberchoir.ca, and subscribe to our newsletter if you want to be let know about different performances we have coming up. This is the final concert of this season for us, so we'll take a break for the summer and get back at it in the fall. We don't send newsletters every week. You might get 3 a year or something, so it's not like your inbox will be full of stuff. So please do come on and subscribe to that to find out when our next performances are. Also, if you'd like to hear again more choral music in Salmon Arm before the summer, the Shoe Swap Youth Choir that I mentioned, again, that's Friday, May 10th at 7 p.m. at the Nexus. So Unclouded Day, the last song in the program here, I thought it's quite an interesting piece. I sang it once in Newfoundland as part of a choir touring around there, and it became a huge favorite amongst us as singers and for the audience members too. And I think it's become a favorite of many people in our group. Often getting it stuck in our heads for 5 or 6 days after rehearsals end. And then, of course, the week's up and we go back to rehearsals, sing it again, and it's stuck in our heads again. So hopefully you enjoy it just as much as we did. The first verse is quite simple. In fact, if you knew the words, you could sing along. The second verse and the third verse, they start to get a little bit more complicated. We get some bluegrass-infused fugues happening where all the different voices are singing at completely different times, in some cases up to, I think it's 10 different parts, all woven together to a final big climactic part towards the end. This is something that I think fits into our program in a nice way of saying goodbye. We think about unclouded sky and what that might look like. You look up to this beautiful day and see nothing but the bright blue skies above you. So if I said rain was a metaphor before for friends, family, community, I hope and I wish all of you a beautiful blue sky here on your way out and in the weeks moving forward and into a lovely summer. Thank you so much for being here with us. It has been a treat to perform for you. And here we have one final piece, Unclouded Day.
Oh, they tell me of a home far beyond the skies. They tell me of a home far away. And they tell me of a home where no storm clouds
for coming, everyone. We hope to be singing back here again for you soon. Have a wonderful night.